So this next video is going to cover your next steps that you need to know as far as the CSU goes. So let's go ahead and jump in here. All right, so as far as applying to the CSU goes, CSUs typically only admit upper division transfer students. And so as an upper division transfer student, that means you have 60 or more CSU transferable units. You don't need to have that 60 at the time of the application. You need to have that 60 by the time you're registering in the system. And what I mean by that is if you're a fall student, you can still have courses in progress for spring, but everything has to be done by the end of spring. You can't use summer to meet admissions requirements. And as a spring transfer, you often have to have everything done by the end of summer. You can't use fall, so that varies a little bit by campus. But the fall transfer application dates, the application opens October 1st. It is typically due by November 30th. They're starting to use like a fluid deadline, meaning some campuses are due by November 30th. A larger amount are due by December 15th, and a smaller, maybe 5 or 6 campuses stay open past December the 15th. But the hard and fast deadline is November 30th. We highly recommend you get it done by November 30th. If you're applying to the EOP program, often that has a deadline of November 30th. So best just to kind of, what I tell students, get it off your plate before Thanksgiving. And then spring transfers, if they're accepting students, that application is August 1st to the 31st. And what I mean by if they're accepting is what the campuses do is they build their fall class. They see how many students ended up enrolling for fall, and then they determine if they have space for spring. And so that just varies from year to year. Sometimes certain majors are closed, even though the campus might be open. So you just have to research that out. And then just a note about what a lower division transfer student is. So a lower division transfer student, my goodness, sorry, is a student who does not have those 60 transferable units completed. And a lower division transfer student would need to have been admissible out of high school. And so you would want to research that out with the CSU that you're interested in. Sonoma State does accept lower division transfer students, as do some of the other campuses that aren't as impacted. And the application link to apply is calstate.edu/apply. When you fill out the application, there is no essay required. If you do decide to apply for EOP, there are several short answer questions that they want you to do, but again, no essay. You report all college classes and grades within the application system. And if the school or major is impacted, it may have a supplemental application process. And what that means is you submit the CSU application, and then they want additional information, maybe about certain classes you completed or your GPA or something like that. So majors like nursing, nutrition, sometimes administration of justice, require a supplemental, and it just varies by major. San Jose State and San Diego and Long Beach, they all do a supplemental application just for their school. And so after you apply to that campus, you typically receive an email saying it's now time to fill out the supplemental, and you would get that done. Usually it's done in the month of January. So the cost of attending the CSU, this is definitely something you want to research. And they break it down by if you're living at home or you're living on or off campus. So if you're living on or off campus, the cost is going to be higher. If you're living at home and attending Sonoma State, not much is going to change. So you're used to those costs. It's just the price of tuition is going to go up. So the baseline for tuition is $5,742 per academic year for students who are enrolled in more than 6 units. So campuses can tack on fees to that tuition baseline. So for example, if a campus puts forth to the student body that they want to build a new rec center and they want the cost, part of the cost to be passed along to students, then they create a fee that students would have to pay. And so that cost of tuition will go up. And so at SRJC, you pay a per unit fee, so you pay $42 per unit. And at the CSUs, you pay a lump sum. So if you were in 12 units, 14 units, 18 units, you pay $5,742 no matter the number of units you're in. So that's something to keep into consideration. Let's see if this fee schedule will come up. Here we go. So here is, well, something went wrong. Let's do, here we go. So this shows that baseline fee for undergraduates is here. If you're part-time, then it's $3,330. And let's see if we can get the fee schedule by campus mandatory fees. So this shows the different mandatory fees. So here's the full-time tuition. So you can see lots of them are in the 7,000s, 8,000. San Luis Obispo's 10,000. Sonoma State is 7,988. So not one campus is at the $5,742. So just know that. So you could just put in, CSU tuition fees, and you would be able to find these pages. I also have them on the Transfer Center website. All right. So it's important that you take a tour. You really want to visit the campuses you're interested in attending. Things are more open now. Campuses are doing small in-person tours. They're typically not doing large groups, but you can schedule a small in-campus tour. You can also just go to the campus and walk around to get a feel for it. I've talked to 2 students in the last couple weeks, and both had a campus listed on their list. And I said, oh, okay, is this school still your #1? No, I visited and it's not for me. It's almost like a feeling that you get when you step out of the car and you're like, nope, I'm not coming here. I had that feeling for San Francisco State as an undergrad, but I went to San Francisco State for my graduate work and I loved it. It was fabulous at that point in my life. But for undergrad, I literally walked out of the car and I was like, I don't want to come here. So it's interesting, but that's what goes on. So take that road trip, set up a tour, ask to sit in a class if that's possible. I don't know if they're allowing that in these days and times, but you can always ask. Try to speak with the department for your major. Go and visit them, see what kind of information they have. Ask if there's any special events for incoming students. So a lot of times they'll do an event like Fresno State does Bulldog Days. The Bulldog is their mascot. So they'll have those types of events, virtual or in person, that you could go to. And then try to go during the week when things are happening on campus and not just on a weekend. And then for your assignment, you will do some virtual tours. So that'll get you started to at least get a feel for the campus and what it is that they have to offer.